Dear Chad, I write this letter not just as a colleague, but as someone who has endured the weight of your actions for many years, and even today as I speak about it 2 decades later. Your behavior towards me was not just inappropriate, it was a violation of my dignity and my right to a safe workplace. Sexual harassment, as defined by the EEOC, includes unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature. When such conduct affects an individual's employment, interferes with their work performance, or creates an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment, it is unequivocally unacceptable. In reading that definition, it takes me back to my early 20s when I was embarking on a new career. Everything was exciting and carefree then. What started as a brief fling with you, my coworker in a higher position than myself, ended in you becoming my sexual abuser 7 years later, when I was then married and starting a family. Your subtle forms of harassment often went unacknowledged by me, as I wanted to bury my head in the sand, but the experience was no less damaging. You were the face of the abuser in the #MeToo movement before that was actually a thing. I believe now not telling the story of the sexual harassment I endured by you normalizes your behavior when there is nothing normal about it. And now I speak out, not just for myself, but for my fellow women who think they are alone and have nowhere to turn. I know now that is not the case. Did you know your persistent harassment took an emotional and physical toll on me over the years? I needed to keep my employment for my family, and I was afraid to use my voice. You're looking me up and down in the office, making brazen attempts to get me alone for lunch. You demoralizing me by calling me little girl, when I know I was an established, young professional woman by then. These were all just ways for you to control and to make me feel uncomfortable. You consistently pushed for a sexual connection when that ship had sailed many, many years before. I felt trapped, unaware that the stress was slowly eating away at my strength and my sanity. Did you know that I had to go on medication to soothe my nerves? Did you know that you had no right to push your sexual agenda on me? Did you know that I could not take that promotion directly because of you? I often find that the universe has a knack for delivering a blunt truth when its faint hints go unacknowledged. I did not listen to myself when I felt uncomfortable and uneasy around your subtle advances. I did not listen to myself when I played the game of avoidance in the communal kitchen, or when I hit the reject button on the phone over and over again when you tried daily to reach me during my long commutes home. I did not listen to myself say run when you blatantly asked me to have sex with you, and that nobody needs to know. Even though I rejected you right then at that time, I figured I had handled it. But you kept coming around anyway, somehow determined to get your way. I am so thankful and so happy that the universe said, wake up. Did you know that I did not get to take the promotion once I found out that taking that job would have made me need to work directly with you as a part of the job description for a year? If I took that job, I knew several things. My nerves were already shot by your behavior and would just get worse, and that my marriage would surely suffer greater than it already had. The turning point came when I finally acknowledged your harassment for what it was. I turned down the promotion and the ability to have more financial stability for my family and myself. This conversation went something like this to the female leader that I was turning the job down to. I said to her, once I realized all at once what I had been enduring. I said, I cannot take this role if it means working with him. It's a sexual harassment thing. I couldn't believe I just said that out loud, but I did. And guess what? That female leader said something that floored me. She said, "Me too." Something like that happened to me before too. And there it was, 2 secrets exposed and nothing to come of it. I felt such shame that I did not see all the subtle ways you used to control me and how your behavior was affecting me before that moment of turning down that job. I felt angry that I did not get to better my financial situation because of you. And once I was all raged, all cried out, I felt the inner strength of 100 women when I stood up to you in the office one last and final time and said with strength, courage, clarity, and boldness, you and I are no longer friends. That moment is etched in my mind forever. I was so thankful that we never spoke after that. My anxiety lessened and I was able to again focus on building my career and my marriage anew. This pivotal moment was truly both liberating and painful as I realized the extent of the control you had exerted over my life. Your actions hindered my career opportunities and led to an emotional breakdown. However, I chose to heal. I stood up to you, found my strength, and used my voice. This journey was not easy, but it was necessary. From this experience, I have learned to recognize subtle harassment, acknowledge it, and act on it. I have chosen to heal and find my voice, and I encourage others to do the same. I got certified in human resources and now know how to help others stand up, document harassment, and find safety, help, and belonging when all they feel is alone. Did you know that each year I suffer PTSD from the mandatory company harassment training? Some years the training hits a bigger nerve more than others. When I'm watching that training and I feel a pit in my stomach when getting through the sexual harassment part of it, I then know the training that year is really good. And that's when I pray that that harassment training is hitting home and hopefully helping others in a similar position today. If I could speak to my younger self, I would tell her to trust her instincts, stand up for herself, and never let anyone diminish her worth. Not for a minute, not for an hour, not for a day, and certainly not for years. Your behavior was not okay. Control is not okay. Creating an atmosphere of intimidation is not okay. I am at peace knowing that you may never acknowledge the extent of the damage that was created in the wake of your actions. But I know these truths. I am healed. I am whole. I am safe. And I am very, very aware. A side note, if you are being sexually harassed at work, find a trusted resource that can help you stop the chaos for yourself. If needed, take action outside of your workplace and confer with counsel. If you know of a friend or colleague that is being abused at work, be their sounding board. Help them create and implement a plan to document what is going on so that it doesn't become a case of he said, she said. And please be their witness. Be bold, be strong, and hold a safe place for yourself and your coworkers. Companies need to understand that ignoring and letting this behavior continue creates a toxic work culture, and that is simply not okay. Wishing you peace.